Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Wonderful. Okay, great. Welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. Forever. And I appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us again this evening.
Yes.
So tonight we're talking about smelling the roses.
The roses.
And we're gonna go into what that means. And all of that, and then some. So make sure you share. This is your opportunity to share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Make sure you tag somebody to be a part of this conversation. And yeah, I think that's it. So without further ado, let's go.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for...
Share.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live? Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now build credit.
So hey, we're back. Welcome back.
Why is it just your name up here?
I shared it because I didn't go to Twitch. I went to the Purpose for Forever page,
whatever.
And then my page.
Let's see if you can do the show alone.
See that? You missed the point.
Hello, guys.
Missed the point.
So while he's doing that, I'm just gonna start talking.
Yeah.
So tonight, I know you like smelling roses. What does that have to do with anything? So something is off with this lighting, but so I've noticed, in relationships or just a lot more lately, I keep hearing about, self-care and things that couples are doing separately and and all of these different things that people are establishing separate and independent of their partners. And I feel like some of these narratives is pushing us to separate more than it is for us to come together.
Right.
I feel like we put more attention and intention into things we're going to do separately, things we're going to do on our own, on independence and the things we want. And we're not taking the time to focus that much energy on doing things together and smelling the roses as a couple.
Right.
It used to be times, but it was like date nights and couples going out. Now when you go out, you'll see more times than not, you'll see a group of girls out or a group of women. You see a group of guys out. You really just see people on a date anymore. Just together, just enjoying that time together, enjoying the companionship of their spouse. Seems like some of those things are becoming outdated or so not the norm. It's the self-care and it's the, I want to do this for myself and I want to be a boss and I want to be a king and I want to be, and don't get me wrong, you can definitely be all those things and still be.
Hey,
Fletcher.
Right.
About that the other day, is dating going extinct?
Is dating going extinct?
It is a possibility. I was trying to focus on the, still dating within your marriage or within your relationship. But I guess it would still be the same. It would still apply because, it seems like those things are becoming extinct. People are dating, like even with him, like we might do something, but he doesn't ask me, do you want to go out? He doesn't say, oh, let me plan something for us to go out. It's like, okay, we'll go here. Like it's not a lot of intention put into it to, to plan something for us to go out. And it doesn't have to be a big event. It's just, the planning makes a difference. But we'll plan for a girls' night out.
Right.
We'll plan for, a night with the guys. We even plan for play dates with our children, but we don't take them same intentions to plan for things with our spouse. And don't get me wrong, independence is great. And I still feel, because I'm very independent, you can be independent and still be in a committed, happy relationship.
Right.
But it's just, I feel like the effort is lacking.
Right.
We went into the pandemic and everybody, everything is so last minute, so haphazard. I feel like when it comes to your spouse, yes, I agreed to be with you till I die. I agreed, to spend the rest of my life with you. But it would be nice, if you were happy about that.
Right.
Still put some effort into it. Make your spouse feel important. Let them know, yeah, we're in this for the long haul, but along the way,
right,
I want to take some time and, really show you that you're important to me.
Right.
And I think sometimes between work, life, bills, kids, it gets lost in the shuffle.
Right.
We don't put that same spin on it. It's like, oh, babe, let's go get some fish. It's
Right.
Friday.
Right. Right.
Or, oh, babe, they got the 2 for $2 on Wednesday. Let's go get that. And it's great. But is that really like a date night? Are you really putting some effort into it? Or, babe, what do you want me to bring home for dinner? It's important to take that time. It's important to put that effort into things. When's the last time you've done something like that you used to do? Like when I was working one day, I went to work and there was some flowers on the desk. He had sent me flowers for no reason. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not really that much of a flower person, but the thought, like, I was giddy all day, even at work. Like, I couldn't wait to get home at the end of the day. Just the little stuff. And I think we get too busy and so sidetracked,
Right.
we forget the little stuff. You can jump in at any moment.
Okay.
'cause I'm
I was waiting for wow, so you're slowing it down a little bit. Slowing down. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about smelling the roses. We're talking about being more intentional, and more or less, we begin to talk about the pandemic
Right.
and how everything slowed down. Everybody kind of slowed. Well, of course, there's always like a small sector of folks that stayed high level. Some went even higher level, but for the most of us, everything slowed down. There were shutdowns, layoffs, and things of that nature. And we talked about, 2 places you could have been in. You were waiting for things to reopen. So you were playing the waiting game. I'm just going to wait right here and keep looking outside, keep looking outside. Or were you going to start learning and growing, and getting more invested in your relationship, because I'm sure there are tons of couples that have spent more time in this past year together than they spent all the other years they've been together outside of high school.
Doing what?
I know, and that's the point. So did you spend time in smelling the roses, taking the time to enjoy the moments, enjoy life together? Or were you just waiting for things to open back up? Were you just complaining about the pandemic? Were you focused on the outside world instead of what's going on inside your home, and enjoying that moment? And like she said, not only enjoying, but starting to be intentional, begin planning things and finding out, we talked about last week about the changing seasons and if things that may have changed with your spouse, in those moments, or understanding what's going on between you guys so that you can be on the same page.
Right.
Because we always get into this rat race of going and going and going and going and going. And, the mantra, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there's some fixing that needs to be done, even though we're still flowing. The chain might be going through the links, but we're missing some things. It's skipping. You ever riding a bike and you and though you're moving, but it's kind of like, oh, what's going on? But we're still rolling. What's going on? And I think this has been an opportunity for a lot of reset, a lot of evaluation, and a lot of intentionality. Yes, intentionality. Look it up. All right. Comment. He said, "Oh my God, you said chain." Now I'm thinking, what?
Right, like you were saying, during the pandemic, I know people that started businesses, people that went back to school,
Right.
Couples that did a lot of things separate and independent, things that they hadn't had time to do.
Right.
Because they were so busy with work.
Right.
So it was a lot of that happened. I do have to say, unfortunately, I haven't heard a lot of stories of we spent time talking to each other,
Right.
Asking the question maybe we haven't asked since we got back together,
Right.
cooking together.
Right.
If that's your thing, listen, everybody has their own thing. You got to figure out what works for you and your spouse.
Right.
When I say stuff like cooking, that's like great for me because I like to
Right.
cook. So when he comes in the kitchen and he helps me cook,
Right.
it's a good day for me.
Right.
But I haven't seen or heard a lot of stories of people, that have taken the time, to actually smell the roses, to
Right.
just be with each other, to try to rediscover them butterflies. Have all your butterflies died or they just died dead? No more butterflies in your stomach.
Butterflies.
Yeah, like they just gone. Relationships, you have to, they say relationship is work. I mean, depending on your definition of work, that could be a drab.
Right.
But putting some energy into it, putting something behind it, some elbow grease. I think those things are important. Like, a lot of days we did like simple stuff. Things that we probably hadn't done in God knows how long. Going to the park. Like we went to the park one day. We took the kids.
Yeah.
It was out there playing kickball
Right.
with the kids, as old as we are. It was just something great that we did together. And it was like, those are things that kind of helped us get through the pandemic as
Right.
well, without feeling so stir crazy,
Right.
Because you feel stuck.
Yeah.
Like, several mornings I got up and I would make him breakfast, and it's little stuff, just like an appreciation. Typically, I don't make breakfast. Breakfast
Right.
ain't my thing. That's
Right.
his thing. I make
Right.
dinner. I'll make lunch. I don't do breakfast. So me making breakfast to him
Right.
is like a big thing.
Right.
It's like one of those appreciation moments. Smelling the roses is about appreciating one another, the little things. We rediscover challenging each other in little areas, make little bets. Like tonight, I want to bet today, and I
Cheating.
get a foot rub tonight. I get a real good foot rub, and I know you're like, really touching your feet? Yes. But it's the little things,
Right.
that we do that are probably corny to some, and that's fine. But you have to find what your little stuff is.
Right.
What little things work for you. But some of the whole self-care, that's important to take care of your mental, take care of your body. But what happened to spouse care?
Right.
What happened to, discovering ways to do something different for your spouse, to do
Right.
something nice, and not because it's Valentine's Day, not because it's an anniversary
Just 'cause.
or a birthday. How about, like a just cause moment? Just because,
Right.
it's what's today? It's Monday. And, I decided just to do whatever. We forget the little things. I mean, this person, as I said before, has agreed to be on this journey with you until you die.
Right.
That's the agreement. Now, things happen.
Right.
You got to deal with that as they come. But that's the agreement. So I feel like along the way, it should be like, oh, you know what, babe? You've been doing this putting up with me all these years. I need to have some appreciation moments. I need to have some flower moments for you along the way. I don't want it to feel like a life sentence.
Right.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
you agree to marriage. You're
Right.
not like chained and sentenced to it.
Right.
You know, figuring out how to bring the happy back.
Right.
That's his word. You gotta find the happy in your relationship.
Yeah.
Those moments where you can enjoy. Sorry.
I don't know. You find, I think, like she said, the work part, like, it's, you know, hearing that is a drain in itself. So like, marriage just takes effort. You know, you have to put something in to get something out. And you can get stuff out without doing anything, but over time, someone's gonna get worn out. I'm gonna just say that. So
Right.
someone said like, well, I was like, I know. See, that's why you're shaking your head, because you putting in and you're not getting nothing out of it either.
Right.
So it does take effort. It takes being intentional.
Both parties.
right.
Both people
Yeah.
have to put an effort.
Exactly. But I don't like to use the word work per se, because, you know, work is tiresome. Work no one really wants to do a lot of, you know, like,
Oh, baby.
how could I get around working so hard, you know? But it's just the effort and being intentional and thinking about the other person. You know, you go out, you know, if you see something like, oh, we talked about such and such. I know she said she's like pink bears. Oh man, there's a pink bear. You know, it's something small that she might like, or a unicorn. Oh, she loves unicorns, you know. but that's, you know, that's her thing. It's just go, you know, when you're out, you have that person on your mind, or you're thinking
Right.
about, how can I surprise them today? What can I do different? Just little stuff. Because that's honestly, that's what makes it different. Because if you really think about it, it's the little stuff that destroys your marriage. It's a little bit of not talking. It's a little bit of not telling. It's a little bit of, I'm gonna go out, you know. And it's the little bit of stuff that destroys. So it's the little bit
Right.
that can save it, you know.
Oh, that was nice.
You like that? All right,
I
can I get a high
that.
five? All right.
All right.
So it's the little bits that make the difference. You know, everything we do in the small intentional way. Because I'll say from the male point of view, what I've noticed, you know, my wife likes me to do things, but not in a manufactured way. She's like, she'd rather me do something that took some effort and some thinking about her to do, if that makes sense. I can have all the money and just here, boom, make it with that and taking the effort. You had the money, you just paid to get it done. But if I had something made or created, like, oh, you took time to have someone do that and pay, you know, and
me.
right. And it's about that person being in mind, you know, and then of course doing it in a way that she likes, like either a certain color or a certain way, you know. It's thinking about them, not just buying something, or women like this. You know, it's considering who your spouse is, who you're dealing with, you know. So I've had to realize that, like, just not getting stuff or doing things, but doing it in a way where they feel like you put time and effort behind it. You know, like I took, you know, she can see, even if it's not the best, she was like, it took you a while to get this. You know, it took some work, you know, to make this thing happen. So, because we've had things like restaurants or something, but she appreciated, she's like, you had to get reservations, it took time. So I'm high five for this, but we're gonna go get something else to eat. You know, because we've had, but she's like, I'm not gonna take away from your work, you know, or the effort that you put forward, but that's it. Oh, Thomas, what's up, brother?
Hey.
So it's has to be intentional. Things have to be intentional. And you have to go into your relationship, you know, wanting more and wanting to get to that happy. And to do so, it's like you give in, you usually get out, you know. And what I've noticed, I'll say, you know, the more I'm able to do what I need to do to keep our relationship flowing, the more she reciprocates back.
Right.
You know,
Reciprocation.
and today's word is reciprocation.
It is key.
Yes.
Like, you know, nobody's always gonna be on.
Right.
Like,
right.
it's just human nature. There's
Right.
gonna be times when he's off. There's times when I'm off.
Right.
But, you know, the beauty of happily ever after. The beauty of till death do us part.
Right.
It's supposed to be when he's off.
Right.
I'm on. Like, hey, babe, okay. You having a day.
Right.
Let me do this. Let me pick up the slack here. I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that. And not in hopes of, oh, well, next time you got to do it. No,
Right.
it's just,
right. Say that.
It's just a part of spouse care.
Yeah.
I need you to be 100%.
Right.
When you're 100%, the family's good. When
Right.
you're good, it all trickles down. It all works together. So I always want,
Right.
I always want him to be good.
Right.
Now, naturally, when he's good,
Right.
he makes sure I'm good.
Right.
So like if I'm having a day, he's like, well, you go lay down. I'll cook. I got the
Right.
kids. I'll take care of this. You just relax. Because again, now it's his turn to pick up the slack.
Right.
And he does it for me and I do it for him. We cater to each other.
Right.
It's mutually
Yeah.
beneficial
Yes.
to both of us.
Yes.
It's beneficial to me as a wife to care and take care
Right.
of my husband.
Right.
He's not a child. He's not my son.
Right.
I am not his mother.
Right.
I don't need to tell him what to do. I don't
Right.
need to boss him around. I'm not interested in that. I
Right.
got a kid. I
Right.
got 2 kids. But as his wife, it's beneficial of me to have
Oh, what's up, Elder
McNair,
McNair?
to have his back and to be there.
Right.
And sometimes I may have to do a little extra than what I envisioned.
Right.
And that's fine. That's a part of a partnership. We are partners.
Right.
He's the lead partner, but we're partners nonetheless. Because if I stand there and I watch him fall apart,
Right.
what do you think happens to the boat? When the captain drowns,
Right.
the boat goes down. So of course, it's beneficial for me to help keep the captain afloat. Like, it just makes sense
Right.
because we're a team, we're a family,
Right.
and it goes both ways. There's sometimes where he may have to do things that he didn't necessarily envision having to do,
Right.
in that moment for for the family, for the whole. If you let one part die, eventually it's gonna rot out the rest. So I think we have to think inclusively
Right.
about the whole unit. Like we're supposed to be one unit. All our parts become one. And we make one. So it's important
Right.
that we take care of each other.
Definitely.
That we quote unquote spoil each other
Right.
and cater to each other.
Right.
It's extremely important. And I know that these days, in society, they tell you, oh, ain't no woman, I ain't gonna cook and clean, I ain't no maid, I ain't his mama, and all these things that we aren't. I think my question would be then, what are you? I mean, it's always clear what we aren't and who you aren't talking to and, what you aren't going to do. But, in a marriage, and I will say in a marriage,
Right.
sometimes them aren'ts, have to be changed around. Some of those things that you may not have envisioned yourself doing,
Right.
You wind up doing for the
Right.
betterment of the whole. And it's important to be wise enough, to use wisdom enough
Right.
to know when that time is, when it's time for you to maybe pick up some of the slack or do a few extra things. It's important.
Right.
As a wife, we
Right.
have to use wisdom. We have to make sure we're watching
Right.
and we're praying
Right.
and we're watching some more and not just watching for another woman all the time. Like,
Right.
I mean, I get it. It's real. It happens. But there's more to watch for with your husband in your marriage than
Right.
just another woman
Right.
smelling around.
Right. He said if partners made it their job to please the other, will make both happy. Right. Right.
Exactly. Like, my day when not necessarily the first thing I do when I open my eyes, but at some point in my day, my thought should be, how can I make this day better for my husband?
Right.
Or how can I make this day better or easier for my husband? How can I make something easier? How can I make something better? I think that should be a part of our daily thought process on both sides, as well as his. He should be thinking, the same way. How can I lift some of the burden off of my wife?
Right.
How can I make some things easier for her?
Right.
I think that's extremely important. And we're getting so far away from those things in the mainstream, in society. Everything is about, me and what I need and what I want. And, what's happening to the families, what's happening to marriages and relationships.
Right.
It's kind of like, it's like a last thought now. It's just, I don't know. I think we have to advocate for family and for marriage, for men and women to procreate and have a family.
Right.
I think we have to say those things just as loud as other people say other things.
Right.
I think it's important. I know for me and what I believe and how I live my life, it's extremely important for me, for my kids to hear me say that.
Right.
Marriage is important. Me being a good wife to my husband is important to me. Not just about what he's doing, but I have You're right. Right now, everything is transactional. Is I'm only willing to do this if you willing to do that.
Right.
Well, I'll let you do this if you let me do that.
Right.
Like where does love come in? Where does commitment come in those things? Like we cheapen things terribly.
Yeah.
And I know you think, oh, money, but money come and go.
Yeah.
Money goes. Money leaves. You have some of the richest people in the world that are miserable. Some of the richest people in the world have killed themselves. So money is not everything. It's important. And yes, it does. There's a lot of benefits to it.
Definitely.
But everything can't be a transaction.
Right.
Like my heart and my love, you can't buy that. My loyalty, to him as a wife and a friend and a mother, like that can't be bought. That can't be sold.
Right.
There's some things that are just intangible or that should be, that way.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what I was thinking, if you're in a relationship or in a marriage, in your marriage, it's my dogs. It's my dog that decided they want to be apart. So in a relationship, okay. All right.
Of course.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go check.
Okay, this is how a bad horror movie happens. You see people talking and like I hear something outside and somebody says, "Oh, I'm gonna go check," and you hear, So so if something happens, I just want witnesses to see I never left the table, and if he don't come back,
I'm back.
Okay.
So asking, having the conversations about, your wants, like, what is it that you would want to see me do more of? Like, what have I done in the past that you've enjoyed that you would like to see me do more of? Or, what have I not done that you would like me to start doing? Just lighten the conversations up. Sometimes we have to sit down, we need to talk, have something I want to talk about, and it's always from a negative perspective or a negative position. And it's, and it's hard to have those conversations, and we have those more often than we do the ones, hey, what can I do to put a smile on their face? Or what is it that I've done in the past that you've enjoyed that I've not done in a long time? Have those conversations. Even before, she would say, before she says something like, back in the day, you used to do such and such, because then it could have a negative effect. But if I come to her first, at least we'll have a fun conversation. I'll be like, oh, I didn't realize how much you enjoyed that. I would do it, but I didn't realize how much you liked that. And have those talks, because then she can get more of what she's looking for, as opposed to me still trying to figure certain things out. I could at least begin to cater directly to what she's looking for. And like Trina said, everything is not transactional like that.
Everything shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Transactional.
It shouldn't be you do and I will. I do and you will. It should just because I love you and I'm going to. I love you and I'm going to do this. Now I get it. Things happen. You hurt my feelings. You do something. I might not do as much because I'm a little hurt. Most of what I might have enjoyed doing something for you. No, I might enjoy doing something, but like it's harder to do if I don't feel it. Not like cooking or feeding or things of that nature, taking care of business, but like, I don't know. Like I guess it may get difficult if there's challenges in your marriage or a challenge in your relationship. It's when you say sometimes it's harder to be romantic. I'm asking.
I honestly can't answer that. I mean, is it harder? I don't know. Harder than what? Like than normal? I mean, here's the thing. Like, I feel like if you get to the point where it's hard for you to do something nice for your spouse, at that point, everything needs to stop, and that's something you need to work on.
Right.
Like y'all need to get to a point where you can figure out what the problem is and fix it.
Right.
Not just, oh, well, it's hard to be nice to you, so I'm not going to be nice to you.
No.
But we just going to stay married.
Right.
Because over time, all that does is, he said, makes it more challenging to do extra stuff. Right. But then I think you have to, at that point, you got to have a moment of honesty. You got to kind of try to figure out, why is it more challenging?
Right.
What's making it more challenging than it was before?
Right.
And then you need to address that because, anything you let linger just grows.
Right.
So if you just let it linger, it's just going to continue to grow. Yeah, you'll keep doing the basics or the easy stuff.
Right.
But that problem is just sitting in the corner, getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
So I feel like you have to, when you realize things are getting harder for you to do stuff that you've done plenty of times before, you might want to think about that. Think about why that is. Like, is this because of something I'm doing, something I'm not doing? Is it something he's doing? For me, because I don't like things to linger. Right. I'm more of a straightforward type person. So like, I feel like I need to be like, okay, look, what's the problem? What's happening here? Or this is happening here, and I don't like the way it's making me feel. Like, we have to be willing.
It's even addressing things doesn't change your feelings some type of way.
Well, I will say for me, it does. Like, he could tell you, I can be angry, I could be mad, I'll be. As soon as I say, okay, well, this is my issue, and I say it, he's like, oh, now he might be mad, but I'm good. Okay, let's go out to eat now. Or, hey, let's go do this. And now he probably in a funk, but I feel better. For me, once I address it, like, I've learned how to let it go. I address it. I'm going to assume that you heard me, and we're going to move forward. I mean, now, of course, that's not just, it's not as simple as it sounds, but it is as simple as it sounds. You kind of just make up in your mind, I'm going to move forward. We're going to move forward. Now, of course, if we have to readdress it again, now I'm probably a little angrier than I was the first time because now we got to re-deal with it. But for me, once I address it, once I talk about it, and depending on your feedback, like if you're receptive and you hear me, I'm good. I can move on to tomorrow. Let's move forward. But that's just me. And I guess, Everybody isn't. But things are a process. So fine, maybe we do talk about it, and maybe it does take time. Maybe I still won't get you flowers this week, and we talked about it on Monday.
Right.
Maybe I still won't rub your feet this week, and we talk. Maybe it takes a few days for you to move forward. But I feel like if you have a conversation about something and you walk away still holding on to it, then you probably need to go back and revisit the conversation, because either something you didn't feel you were heard, there's something there, I feel like, that you've taken away with you. It's like you took the bag with you, and then you picked up the bag on the way out and left with it.
Okay. So, we had the conversation. We talk about whatever the issue is. Do you feel like, so you can kind of go back to give me back rubs and feet rubs and things like that right after, once you get it out?
You want me to answer that a lot?
Uh-huh.
It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. So I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
And like, I'll be set up at night because I'm frustrated about something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll smack him in the back or something, and he get up, and I'm like, look, this is my issue.
Right.
And we talk about it. Depending on what kind of mood I'm in after we talk,
Okay.
right, he could turn around and get a nice little back rub. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Or it could be one of those nights I'm like, okay, I feel better, good night, and I roll over and go to sleep. Like I said, it may not be instant. It might take a few days before you get a back rub or whatever. But for me, it's not usually because I'm still feeling some type of way. It just, in that moment, okay, well, fine, let's whatever. I feel better. For me, once I address something, and that's pretty much almost with anybody, like, even if it's somebody I don't care for, once I tell you how I feel, like, I don't care how you feel after that. I'm good, because I feel like I've done my part. I've released it,
Right.
and I'm not taking it with me. That's why I came to you, because I intended to drop this at your feet,
Right.
and it's up to you what you do with it.
Okay. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live? Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now build creded. Is it back?
Yes.
Oh, already?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. All right. I think we've shared a lot. So
you saying let me ask you the
Ask
question.
me.
So you're saying for you, even after we still talk about something, if I'm like, okay, can you rub my feet now? You like, nah, I'm good.
Depends on how I feel. I might still be mean. I might rub them. If
But
I'm
hard, like,
you're gonna get the quick rub, little smacking, that good, like that, you like that. But yeah, it just take a minute if to kind of process, or if I'm the one with the issue, just to kind of, hey, all right then, and then I can move forward. It probably take me a minute, but yeah, I can probably work feet long. You don't turn over and go back to sleep. So, but yeah, I could. Definitely. Don't laugh at me. Yeah, I think it is about having a conversation, though. It's about not letting things linger.
right.
Not letting things linger. And that's the little things. And it's usually the little things that add to the big things. Because it's something I did that we didn't address. And either you might have said something, or she kind of was trying to shrug it off and maybe something else. And so now it's a compound, so now we either deal with what's going on, or we let it compound until, she's just, the most I'm getting, she's cooking. That's about all I'm getting, because she's Yeah, I'm like Elvin Mill said, I'm like getting the extra, because she's upset, but we're not talking about it. We're not dealing with it. It's not being handled. And honestly, I've seen that, when we was kind of there with our long marriage first time, and then coming back together, we, establishing a better standard of doing things. But
Right.
and but we were kind of there, we kind of look at when people celebrate marriages that have been around doing things without being asked to do it. Right. That's good, Rich. Marriages celebrate a long time. We kind of look at how they're standing, like, oh, they've been together 40 years.
Right. And they always like this when you see them. They always, the man like that, and she like,
Yeah.
they had a picture like this.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're just wasting years of your life.
Yeah, because you can clearly see there's something that's not been addressed, something they've not tackled.
And don't misunderstand. Trust me, every day is not a happy day.
Right.
Like, because we're human, we're people. We, through the course of your life, you're going to go through emotions all the time. Like, I know men always say women are emotional creatures. I hate to tell them, it goes both ways. There's emotions on both sides.
Right.
So there are going to be days that are like, okay, I love you, but can you just go sit over there? And because that's me. Some days, like, and I have to be honest. I'm like, look, babe, I love you, I promise. But I need my own air. And I know I've said that before. Like, I just need to breathe my own air today. Some days, you'll have those days. Some days.
Oh, be great.
Right.
Yeah, delusional. Right.
Because then some days you look at yourself and you're like, you know what? You are messing up today. So just imagine, when you're with somebody else, you're going to have those days that like, okay, this is just a mess today.
Right.
And it's okay. Mm-hmm. The trick is not letting those days turn into weeks.
Right.
And the weeks turn into the months. Right. And then the months turn into the years. And then you look at each other and you've been married 19 years and you can't remember why.
Right. Right.
You can't remember why you even still sleep in the bed with him.
Right.
Much less why you're married to him. So that's the important part where, you don't want to spend so many years that you're like literally married to a stranger. Right. And you have two separate lives. Right. You get in your car, you going east. He get in his car, he going west. Right. You don't want
a moment turn into a season.
Right. You don't want those things to happen. Right. And the way you combat, bad situations or, a bad moment is with a good moment. But those good moments have to be created. Right. You have to put the energy and time into, I'm sorry, I was trying to read out the energy and time into creating those good moments. Right. The reality is you want your good moments to outweigh your bad moments. Right. Because some bad moments have nothing to do with your spouse. Right. Let's just be honest. Sometimes those bad moments have nothing to do with your spouse. Right. But because that's the closest person in your proximity, they catch the heat of it. Right. So, we have to make sure the same way, the same way we come home and dump those bad moments, we have to, like I said, work twice as hard to create those good moments with our spouses. Definitely. You have to be willing to do that. Vulnerability, communication, all those things, they matter and they matter a lot.
Right. Definitely. They matter a lot. Really? So I appreciate that's all I got. Definitely. So I appreciate you guys though. Right, intentionally focused on good. Right, exactly.
And don't keep score. Don't keep score. Right, like you can't keep score. She did that on Monday.
Right.
I bet you it'll be next week.
I'm a one-up.
Before I bring home dinner. You know, like
Right.
you can't. Like those things are petty,
Right. Very much so.
dangerous
Yes.
patterns to
Yes.
get into. Like
Right.
I've seen a couple, they one-upped each other all the way to divorce.
Right.
No winners when you keep
Keep
scoring.
scoring, right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I mean it. They one-upped each other with everything.
Right.
He did this, she did that. He did that, she did this.
Right.
All the way to divorce court.
Right.
Like, so, you know, you can't keep score.
Right.
Focus on the things that are important. And that's longevity and it's happiness. And no, he don't make me happy,
Right.
but he don't add to my misery either.
Right. Right.
Like, you know, there's a big difference. I don't rely on him to make me happy.
Right.
That is solely my responsibility
Right.
to make me happy.
Right.
Now, I do rely on him to be a man of his word and to be my husband and probably a whole laundry list of other things.
Right.
Of course, his good behavior, and I don't mean in terms of whatever, but I mean, you know, him adhering and doing those things contributes to my happiness.
Right.
I see separation. Till it's the Grand Canyon. Where you want.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Right. Right.
And it's no longer separation, like you on two opposite sides of the earth.
Right.
So you are exactly right about that. But you know, if every time you see something's wrong, you try twice as hard to do something good,
Right.
it fills in the gaps.
Mhm.
You know, instead of letting that hole become, like you said, the Grand Canyon.
Right.
You have to, when you realize something is wrong. Honestly, I feel like when it's hard for you to do something good, that's when you should try more to do it.
Right.
Like when you feel like, oh, I don't want to bring her home dinner today, or I don't want to do this. That's when you need to try harder
Right.
to go to her favorite restaurant and
Right.
get dinner.
Definitely.
Not just
That's right. The friend.
not just bring dinner, but bring
Right.
her favorite dinner.
Right.
I think you should try twice as hard.
True.
Because that's when the relationship needs it the most.
Right.
When it's easy, it's easy.
Right. Right.
You know, there you don't really have, you know, any concerns when it's easy.
Right.
But when it gets hard, you know, when it's hard to look at him,
Right.
you know, when it's hard, you know, to do these things, I think that's when you should focus more on doing them. Because that's when your relationship needs it more.
I think those are the things that kind of break the ice. Like, you know, if it's been so distant or cold in your household, you know, you pushing to do that nice thing, not as a look, I did nice, forgive me,
Right.
but as a nice as look, I've been thinking about you.
Right.
You know, I kind of let's do something different. You know, let's talk, let's sit. You know, let's kind of remember why we together. You know, because right now there's a Grand Canyon between us. You know. We need to kind of start filling a hole up. You know, what can we do to kind of come back together? What can we do to make this work? So it's doing something out of the ordinary,
Right.
you know, that you probably used to do, you know, but you're doing it because you're trying to rebuild.
Right. And Dwayne said for working out in the gym, that's absolutely when you get gains. When it burns, hurts, and it's painful.
Right.
And you're right. And the same thing in your relationship. When it's hard, that's when it makes more of a difference. When maybe you guys, for whatever reason, haven't communicated well in the last 2 days, and you come home and you've brought her, I don't know, one of the little silly things that you know is her favorite.
Right.
Like, that's an icebreaker.
Right.
Sometimes you think, oh, I need to come home and apologize. Sometimes it's as simple as showing up. Sometimes it's as simple as just showing up with something. And I don't mean something that costs money. It could be, I don't know, putting on our favorite shirt.
Right.
You know, it's a million different things that you can do. But sometimes that's when it means the most.
Right.
When it shows that you're willing to get past whatever petty beef we had and focus on getting us back to being us.
There we go. There we go. So take time, smell the roses, enjoy your relationship, enjoy your marriage, because if you're not, then you need to work on getting
that cologne, that stuff.
it.
You know, the way she like. Yeah, all those little things.
Right. Yes, indeed. All right. So we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. Make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576. You'll never miss an episode of Purpose for Forever.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say Purpose for Forever.
Not the Purpose for Forever.
The Purpose for Forever. Sisters of Legacy and Brothers of Legacy. He said, "Water with R&B players."
Listen, see,
Yes, indeed.
Dwayne might know a little something.
So make sure you join our community as well. We appreciate you rocking and hanging with us. And make sure you watch Sisters of Legacy tomorrow at 8:30. They're going to be possibly just watch it out. Just a little, right? He was stuck on it just a little. All right. So as always, as we close out, as always, love intentionally,
Love unconditionally.
and
Love.
love.
Yes, love unconditionally and love.
On purpose. You fine.
I don't. My mind.
Me and you